Hello once again. I've got a question for you. How do you see the brave new world we've created in the last few years? We didn't. It's the one that's been created for us by murky figures in the background, manipulating us, weaving a web of confusion to divide us all. Could it all be by design? I think so. Just look around you and see the influence that social media has upon society in general. Look at the media and its influence on politics. It seems to me that we are being led down the path of radical social change, and it's being manipulated by a minority of powerful groups. Forget communism and forget fascism. Long gone are the concentration camps and the gulags that killed millions of people. What we have now creeping up on us is neoliberalism, and it's far, far more sinister than the other two combined. In times gone by, radical change was forced upon us by tyrants, and overall it failed because all it did was to bolster people's resistance to it. Just look at Herr Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Mussolini, and that's just three tyrants. It didn't end well for them, did it? And today, things are far more subtle, and the ruling classes use gaslighting and psychological means to entrap us. The key strategy is to gradually erode established ideas of a civil society and therefore undermine this individual sense of right and wrong. Could it be cultural Marxism? And now Wikipedia, for what it's worth, would have you believe that cultural Marxism is a far-right conspiracy theory. But is it just that? Or is it actually going on in a covert manner? And I think it is. I think it is doing that precisely. It's underhand and we are being tricked. Make no mistake about that. Cultural Marxism appears to be a long-time project focused on the deconstruction of family, education, media, sex, immigration, and popular culture. Look at these points. The creation of racism offences aimed mostly at white people. And the main culprit of that was BLM. And BLM, if you look it up, is a Marxist organisation. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. And I've learned subsequently that the members of Antifa are in pay of the Open Society Foundation, headed up by none other than George Soros. Number two, dumbing down education and offering only indoctrination, implemented by one Tony Blair. Thank you, Tony Blair, for doing that. You've killed education at universities. Number three, teaching gender fluidity to children. 4, undermining parents' and teachers' authority. 5, promoting of heavy drinking and drug abuse. 6, promoting sexual deviancy. 7, encouraging the breakdown of family. 8, massive dependency on state benefits until eventually it's not worth going to work anymore. The only ones working are those who have to support it with heavier tax burden. 9, unreliable legal system where the criminals have priority over the victim. Media control by the government, typically the BBC, but almost all media outlets. They seem to be government controlled. Number 11, constant change to create confusion. 12, attack on Christianity and the closing of churches in times of great need for some people. 13, the destruction of national sovereignty via mass illegal immigration. 14, deplatforming people for the wrong groupthink. 15, implementing digital ID and central banking and maybe giving those in power complete control over all of us. Ask yourself how many of these points you see in modern society. And if you do, is it a coincidence or is it by design? You tell me, because it looks remarkably the opposite of what Wikipedia is telling me about cultural Marxism. But then again, ask yourself who influences Wikipedia and who are the fact checkers? The fact checkers in the background. And more to the point, who checks the fact checkers? Who are they? They. It was they. They told us. They did it. Who are they? Who are they? I can tell you who they are. Don't look at they as a word. Look at it as an acronym. THEY. The hierarchy exploiting you. Going back to the fact checkers, that they are nothing more than paid minions doing their master's bidding. One glaring example of this is a certain explosion in the Baltic Sea. If you ever mention the name of a certain journalist writing in the New York Times, excuse me, you are immediately banned on social media, even though he's been a respected journalist all his working life, and he's now in his 70s. Social media and free speech has become an oxymoron, and it appears to be a place of clandestine revolution hell-bent on destroying the very fabric of our society by shadow banning and the exclusion of voices of respected journalists who just tell the truth. This is why Julian Assange is being held. It's not Julian Assange as a person, but what he stands for. And his carceration is purely to scare off others from revealing the truth. Consequently, journalism has been completely destroyed. Back to Wikipedia. It isn't a source of information. It's a breeding ground for neoliberalism and their agenda. Anything they disagree with is put down as far right or far left, or a conspiracy theory. According to them, globalism is a far-right, right-wing idea and free speech is alive and well. Oh, really? Is that a fact? I left a link to an interview by Dr. John Campbell and Andrew Bridgen. I'll let you decide what is true by watching it. Please do watch it. Andrew Bridgen was a Conservative MP of Parliament who's been banished by the party for alleged anti-Semitism. And then that's exactly what they did to Jeremy Corbyn, just to get rid of them. And if you watch the video, it most certainly wasn't, and you'll see that in the video. Please do watch it. The exclusion of this man is the pinnacle of free speech destruction and the annihilation of public debate in one of the most democratic nations on earth. Long gone are those days. And most folk couldn't care less. What a tragedy. And from one debacle to another. Now, next weekend sees a coronation of King Charles III. Well, he's certainly not my king. Certainly not. And I won't be watching. And I won't be watching for many, many reasons. And I encourage you to listen to George Galloway, who I'll leave a link to his view on the subject, because it's far more eloquent than I could be. But I do agree with George Galloway wholeheartedly, and I'll leave a link to that. You don't have to look too far to find corruption in politics, and it appears to be endemic. And all governments suffer a recurring problem. Power attracts pathological personalities. It's not that power corrupts, but it's a magnet to the corruptible. And that's for certain. These people are attracted to power because of that. Just one little observation I came across by accident, actually, about the French President Emmanuel Macron, and it may surprise you a little bit. Emmanuel Macron was a protege of David de Rothschild, the Rothschilds, the very, very rich banking family. And Macron the man was promoted overnight from an Excel spreadsheet amender to a partner at the financial firm, just before running for the presidency. How convenient was that? And it seems to me and many others that he was groomed for the job by high finance. Nothing corrupt there, of course, is there? And Macron is a little bit like fiat money. It's created out of thin air to help bankers to steal everything. Or is it just my imagination once again? Can I really be imagining all this? I don't think so. But who cares anyway? We in Britain and many other countries across Europe have a political system where the two major parties have exactly the same agenda. Consequently, voting becomes pointless. And just maybe that's the plan. And the electorate have been deliberately worn down with national apathy. No one cares. And many people I know can't be bothered to vote because they don't see the point. What a tragedy that is. And after all, this monologue is purely about divide and conquer. And you are the target. Thank you for listening to me in my car. Bye-bye.